Hey guys, I figured I'd share this game that I was working on. Essentially, it's a cross between old school RPGs like Zelda: A Link to the Past and new modern roguelike adventure games like RPG games like Desktop Dungeons. So it's sort of a cross between old school retro RPGs and more modern roguelike games. Even though, roguelikes have been around for a long time, they are starting to kind of pick up out there. Alright, so the objective of the game here that I got going on, as you can see, like, I got a lot of placeholders. This game is in development mode. I was, working on this, and I kind of put it down for a while. I don't know if I'll ever pick it up again, but there's a lot of placeholder text and weird funky things going on, so pay no attention to some of this because it is in development mode and there is bugs and algorithms that I'm still working on. But essentially, the objective of the game is to get to the next stage. So currently the next stage is this cave here that I have in the Zelda Link to the Past style graphics going on, which could be represented by just about anything, or even going into the next area, or however you want to get to the next stage. But essentially, that is the goal, to get to the next room, to get to the next stage. So if you can get to the next stage, you'd get to the next stage and go to the next level. However, you would have all these different enemies that would essentially be blocking your route. Okay, so it's all dynamic, and essentially, these enemies would be blocking your route. So, for example, you'd get to the next level, the enemies would, change positions, and, they'd be strategically placed in such a way that, it blocks your path, and you have to strategically figure out which enemies to fight. So, for example, this guy's level 4, I'm level 1, okay, I got 10 health, 8 attack, and 20 gold, and no experience points whatsoever. So, fighting a level 4 is a little bit out of my my capabilities here, because I'm only level 1 and I don't really have anything going on for me yet. So I have to strategically look around, see which enemies would be the best match for me. So here's a level 1, so I could easily take him down, and I'll do that right now. So I just took him out, gained a little bit of XP, and was even an attack here. So there's different pickups that you get, different power boosts like HP, attack modifiers, so you can increase your attack, increase your health. But essentially, and as well as random chests, which would be like a huge part of the game. So being able to get past these enemies and then get to a chest, and you would get different power-ups within these chests and different random things. So it's all dynamic, all random. Mobs would be placed randomly and dynamically, to a certain extent, just like roguelikes are. And strategically played, so you can get to the next stage. So here's another guy. He's level 2. I could probably take him out, and I just did so. And I just need 2 more XP to make it to the end. And essentially, so he's level 5. Level 3. Okay, maybe I could take this guy out. And I lost some health, and maybe I just need to hit him one more time. So there we go. I leveled up. Increased a level. Now I can go on to maybe fight higher guys within this room. So ultimately, you gotta strategically go about defeating the enemies within the room. Get to the next room, right? Just like in I guess roguelike games. Get to the next room and you get a new stage. Okay, this is in development mode, and I'm just looping through the same stages right now. But there would be a new stage, and then you're basically set up with a new mob set that is dynamically and randomly given to you based on the stage that you're in, as well as your level. So you're always representing, or you're always presented with enemies that are in your level range. Alright? Plus, it factors in the actual level that you're in as well, and how how far you are. So for example, if I, just went through and didn't clear out a level and I just was able to make it into the next room, well, eventually over time, that would weaken you and you become weaker and weaker over time. So you have to, strategically go about clearing out these areas, make sure you pick up your tags and, different chests and stuff and like that, in order to progress in the game. Otherwise, you're just going to get to a point in the game where you're going to be so weak that, you wouldn't be strong enough to go on. So it has a lot of modern roguelike features going on. And, this was a lot in the works and planning and development. A lot of the routes that I wanted to go with it. Essentially, I kind of wanted to bring the best of both worlds with, games like old school Zelda games and, old school RPG games. They're kind of sort of like a top-down 2D RPG style old school kind of game with the new modern roguelikes, and kind of get the best of both worlds. However, I kind of abandoned it, had other things to do. Would also like to, have even made this into, just a full-blown RPG, sort of like a Zelda Link to the Past, just kind of recreation maybe, or not a recreation of that exact same game, but something based along those lines, basically, like my take on that sort of a game, which would have been cool as well.